Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Real Ghostbusters. My name's Andy Mangles. I'll be your host for this commentary session with some of the fantastically talented men who brought about this pilot episode, including...
My name is Len Janson. I was a writer, one of the writers along with my partner Chuck Menville.
I'm Kevin Alteri, and I was storyboard supervisor, assistant director, and board artist on most of the series.
And I'm Dan Riba, and I was a storyboard artist on the series, and on this episode in particular.
Yeah. It was me and Dan locked in a room together, cranking out storyboards.
Yeah. And sometimes at your house, I remember.
Yep.
So we wouldn't be interrupted.
Constantly saying, "Who wrote this crap?"
No.
No, never, ever. No.
We actually really liked the scripts. This was like one of the first times in my animation experience. It was probably the first time. Good old Chuck. God rest him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. Dedicate this one to Chuck Menville.
Yes.
But anyhow, no, that was, as I was saying, it was like Chuck and Len were the first writers that we got to actually interact with.
Was that spelled? Did that say Act 1?
Yep.
Okay.
One. Yeah.
Act 1.
That was my bad.
It's the promo. Or it's the pilot. They
And
the pilot
just see if you can spot where Eddie Fitzgerald comes in here.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the storyboard artist.
Yeah.
You mean as a storyboard artist or as a character?
No, as his influence. Like, I remembered, this is...
It's Rain and Chocolate. That was Arsenio's.
That was his audition
That was his
line.
audition line, yeah.
Yeah.
Got him the job.
This episode really showed off Slimer, I thought.
Yeah.
He's still very funny, even after 200 years.
Yeah.
There's a definite PK source inside.
Kevin, you were actually of the three of you here. You were the one who had worked on this the longest.
Yeah.
Promo pilot, right?
Yeah.
Let's go.
This was like, Serpentine! Notice how when Ray goes in, he's so into it that he's...
Reminds me of a college party I went to
Oh.
once.
And Lorenzo music.
He was funny.
Yeah.
These are Everett Peck designs, right?
Yeah.
Didn't Gabby take a...
It was, Everett would, like, take a stab at some of the bigger monsters and stuff,
Yeah.
but then Gabby, made them happen.
Egon, Ray, excuse me, but
You know, the pacing on this episode is really good also.
Makes me break out?
Some of the later ones, they kind of slowed down, I think, but this one was...
All right, you
I haven't
party
seen
animals,
this in, like,
cleanup time.
20 years. Maybe more. I don't know, like about 20 years.
I remember when we storyboarded, we didn't have the designs for the characters yet, so we didn't know. We just knew it was sort of the mama bear, papa bear, baby bear kind of feel to it. So we were kind of taking that riff, that with a little bit of Archie Bunker kind of thrown in, and Edith.
We couldn't use the actual actors' faces, right? We had to change it.
Right, we had to change their faces. It was,
Or their voices.
we were told, yeah. But
I remember. Oh yeah, I remember that joke.
There's a lot more slapstick there.
yeah,
Yeah, I actually remember. Oh, don't you love that sound?
that's so cool. They're so complicated. Those designs of those backpacks.
Yeah, I remember we're doing this. It's a chocolate factory, a candy factory, and I remember doing all this and like we didn't know what it looked like. We didn't have any backgrounds. We had nothing.
Right.
It's like, here we
I-
go.
The ghosts are really great in this also.
Yeah.
They're in. We got them. All right.
Right.
They're all covered in chocolate. Well, some of them are covered in chocolate.
Yeah, we missed a joke there.
Oh,
With Winston.
We got 'em.
Yeah.
Like taking candy from a ghoulie.
Now,
Candy from
you talked about the fact that the characters had to be changed some. It's interesting that kind of Venkman is the Murray character
Right.
is thinner and Ray is a little chubbier. Whereas with the actors, that was kind of the opposite.
yeah, at that time.
The one that looks the most like the actor is Egon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was my favorite character. His design was great, and he was
We brought you a little
the most
surprise.
interesting of the four.
You didn't think Slimer looked more like his actor likeness than?
Oh, Slimer, yeah. He was a great actor, the guy who played Slimer.
She's allergic to chocolate.
Janine.
No, they're
I
empty.
love
know.
Janine.
I love the design. She was so pretty.
Well, we know that some of the the character designs you wanted the jumpsuits to be kind of different colors so you could tell them apart on screen.
Exactly. That's
And there were some questions about whether you could do actor likenesses and how far. But you went with like the different hair color for each one, so you can tell in these scenes where they're tiny. But why would you? Slimer was much more evil looking, even in the promo pilot and so forth. Was it just because he was going to be a good character, you needed to make him cute and cuddly?
Well, the decision was made that Slimer was going to be the mascot after we did the promo. So during the promo, we didn't know that he was even going to be like a regular on the show. We just did it
because he was cool in the movie.
yeah, it's like we liked him. I like that guy. That's like my favorite part. And then like being slimed became like a running gag for the whole series.
And Len, as you were writing this pilot and so forth, did you write the pilot before the Bible, or did you write it contemporaneously with the Bible? Or
No, you always write the Bible first, because the network had to look at it and approve it. You get notes on the Bible. It went on for weeks until finally everybody was satisfied with it. And Slimer, in my mind, was always going to be a main character. I mean, a second banana, but he was going to be the character that stole the show. I mean, you can see why he's funny.
Sorry, Len. It's okay.
I know I did some earlier stuff in the. All I remember is working on the Toy Factory stuff and some of the stuff in here.
Yeah. Actually, I think that was my joke.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the voice was so great.
Hey, this cartoon's pretty good.
Well, that's why it's lasted for 23 years with the fan base.
And if I remember right, this was it Kurumi did the animation on this one?
I'm not sure.
But I remember
so.
it was, I remember Fukuda-san was like involved, and we actually tapped him for Batman the Animated.
Right.
Funny, I could have swore I heard something.
Well, interestingly, while we've been doing these commentaries and interviews with people have referred to both Korea and Tokyo as doing the animation. So was there multiple companies involved in doing that?
Well, KKD was sort of a clearinghouse, and they worked with different studios, TMS, Kurumi, and various studios in Japan and in Korea as well as in Japan. So there were at that time there was a lot more flux. A lot of Japanese studios used Korean animators, but it was primarily a Japanese company. After a while, they sort of cut out the middleman and just go to Korea. So.
And Dan, didn't you work on some of this in Tokyo though?
Not on the Ghostbusters. I was working on retake stuff when I was in Japan. So I there was a crew that was in Japan doing designs for the syndicated package. Yes.
I remember doing the cat.
Yeah.
I remember this. Amazing.
Yeah, I do. Because I remember I was like we'd stay up till like 1 o'clock in the morning, sometimes later.
Yeah.
I was home asleep by then.
Well, you had done the easy part, right?
Yeah, right.
Who did their voices?
I know Frank Welker was doing Slimer.
He probably did multiple
That's what
voices.
I'm wondering about these guys. Yeah.
They can. I think the actors can do up to 3.
They can do up to 3, and then they have to pay them
yeah.
more if they want them to do the
Right.
next set. Because my thought is always, if you have to pay somebody else to do the 4th voice, then just pay the actors already there to do the 4th voice.
Mm-hmm.
If the voice has to be done, it has to be done.
Especially somebody like Welker, who's so good.
Was there a specific intent to kind of, especially in these network shows, to make the monsters more comical than scary?
Oh, yeah.
Everett designs there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was the idea. I mean, when we did the syndicated show, there was less network involvement, so we could design things that were really creepier. But for Saturday morning, yeah, we had BSMP notes on stuff being too intense. However, we got away with a lot, and this show has a lot of creepy stuff at the end. It's just atypical creepy stuff.
It's creepy unusual as opposed to...
Exactly.
There's Ecto 1. They got the spelling back.
Dr. Venkman and his staff are here.
Everything is under control.
It sure is. Thanks to these two
You know, the
wonderful
backgrounds in Ecto 1 and the firehouse and all that were so beautifully done by the production crew. It was like for a writer, you would have these layouts, and it was like going to a live set, and saying, okay, well, here's the stairway, here's this. I mean, it was really nice to have that.
Yeah, I think, wasn't that John was doing the painting?
John was doing the painting, and Bruce Zick, and Colette Van Mierlo doing the background design. And it was...
Ghosts are us. Never mind.
Now, was this a comment on the other filmation, on the filmation Ghostbusters? You know, saying this is the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Were you making kind of a little subtle comment there?
It all comes back to me. Yes, of course it was.
Yes.
Well, I think it was a legal thing, wasn't it?
I know, but the show is actually
calling
about
it
that.
the real Ghostbusters.
She actually answers the phone and goes, "No, we're the
Yeah.
real ones."
Oh,
So
her. Oh, yeah.
It's how she did it.
Yeah.
They're still number one.
we're still number one. Yeah.
All right, champs. Small Dwarf Hotel.
I never thought of that. That empowers the pilot. Like,
Now-
these are the real ones.
Kevin, when you see Janine there, one of the things that Gabby talked about was that she designed Janine's forelock based on her own hair.
Yes.
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 Were
Absolutely.
there any other elements of staff members that showed up in some of these?
Yeah, it was off and on.
This one's a rat.
Not so much. But I think because Gabby was
Who are you guys?
basing like all the female characters on herself. You know.
Projections.
Yeah.
It was
We
neat.
have the ghosts, ladies and gentlemen. No problem.
Look at that guy.
Because we
Although I do remember,
Uno.
I remember there was one show, Starcom, which they actually did where the character designs were actually based on me and John Calmet.
John Calmet was the villain.
Yeah, he was the villain, and
In one of the Ghostbusters episodes?
No, it was another series.
another
after this, right
series.
after the one we did after this.
yeah,
Egon actually had hair similar to
Yeah.
Janine.
yeah.
If you look at it.
Ghostbusters faces.
It's like a wave breaking.
Yeah, actually, it's like back then I used to have hair. That's what I used to do when I'd go out clubbing. I would like do the Egon hair.
Do the Egon
the
hair?
flock
Yeah.
of seagulls thing.
We have to do this.
Can't do that anymore.
I never had hair.
Yeah, some. I remember.
It was airbrush.
That's what
Speaking
I
of
used to
hair,
do. That's what I
boy,
used
you
to
just
do.
led right into that joke, almost as if you knew. But you haven't seen this for a long
It's been a
time.
long
man.
time.
We're 3 ghosts short.
Now, when Slimer's on screen here, especially early on in the series, he wasn't specifically speaking in anything we could even vaguely understand. As the series went on, you could understand him better.
Yeah.
But did you write actual dialogue for him, or did you just write gibberish?
No, we wrote actual dialogue. I mean, it's just a couple of words here and there, but we wanted the actor to know what he was saying.
See, I knew I should have.
I mean, not often, but
That's right.
we did it that way.
Well, you know, and it's like, it's kind of strange. I never thought of this, but it's like Frank Welker again. It's like he's doing the same job with Scooby.
Yeah.
It's like Slimer's Scooby.
Yeah.
Look at that drawing. All of a sudden it gets all rendered
I
with
know.
all these
I know.
lines.
It's like
That was
And,
pretty
and
sexy.
you were talking
actually.
about creepy, though. That was a really
yeah. I know.
creepy might be the wrong word. Grotesque.
Yeah,
is
yes.
more. It's almost a grotesquerie more than horrific.
Yeah, one of
Oh.
the,
I remember doing this. scene.
Nice
This is
background.
my board.
these are- the
I
backgrounds
There you
are
are.
gorgeous.
yeah.
Oh, you actually
Bruce
brought
Zick
the
did these-
board for that scene in.
Yeah,
today.
yeah, I did. I mean, it was tweaked a little when the design was changed, but we didn't have the designs for the characters yet when we were boarding it, so they were very generic, ghosty shapes.
Yeah, they kind of looked like the lead ghost
Yeah, yeah.
in the logo.
Turlock, what a funny name. What inspired that name? It's like,
There's a town called Turlock in California up
is
north.
that it?
Oh,
Sorry, because it sounds like Archie Bunker saying toilet. It's like a turlet.
Turlock.
Next state.
One of the hard things as a writer, especially coming from a live-action movie that had such a great cast, especially the Bill Murray character, because he's a genius, comic genius, and to translate him to animation, especially limited animation, it's really hard. And I don't think we really succeeded. I think we did with Egon, but I don't think Ray ever quite made it like even close to what Bill Murray was.
I don't know. I really like Lorenzo Music's approach, though. He's so.
That was supposed to be a fast truck in on that thing. I boarded that sequence. We were supposed to have like really creepy sound effects and then zoom in fast, and it wasn't timed the way I'd intended.
Yeah.
But I remember doing this sequence with the smoke with the eye in it.
I just remembered. I designed the monster in this.
At the end, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did this part. I did this stuff.
I just
And then-
remembered that eye on a stalk.
Right. And then, but you
It's
did
like-
the whole construction when it turns into the toy monster.
Yeah.
Isn't that the monster from Lost?
You know, they're ripping me off. They owe me money. No, it was.
Actually, I was thinking of.
So
Because
those
it's
are
a
all the
smoke
elements.
monster
Yeah,
that's coming out and looking
exactly.
at them.
It's,
But I was thinking. I
It's a sort of,
remember
you know-
watching The Crawling Eye,
yeah.
the Forrest Tucker movie.
Yeah.
I'm amazed by you guys' memory.
I am too. It's like it just started coming.
Yeah. Yeah. And then.
There's a difference
totally
between working
forgot.
visually and
Yeah.
working in
I
words.
Now,
totally
is-
forgot that I.
Is
then
this
it
the
did this
which
stuff.
monster did you design? You said.
Well, the one at the end, what it turns into
Yeah.
is the.
Well, what do
So
you know?
it's still before we see it, I'm still boarding this section, and then and when it comes out of the. And I originally did an exclamation point coming out of the thing. It was a really cartoony gag, but we cut it because they're like, well, we don't want to go that silly.
That's at least a Class 8 free-roaming vapor.
Worse, a full magnitude Class 10. Whatever it is.
Wow, it just
Just ripped right through the wall of the machine there. There
There.
goes the PK meter.
So I think I only showed parts of it because we hadn't designed the whole thing yet, and you were like up to the.
Yeah.
So then we get to the bridge, and you did
Yeah.
the sequence.
right.
Where I think we take up here at this wipe. I think it's the air stuff now.
Ah.
Okay.
Ecto 2.
For launch.
Yeah.
All right.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, this is where I took over.
Yep. Yeah.
All of a sudden, it gets all
It's all action.
action all the
It's
time.
awesome, and it's just really creepy. It's
I remember Mark did this design, and I just loved it. And they said, "We're gonna make a toy of it," and then they say, "No toys." You know, it's like, and as a matter of fact, we can't. So we had to. Well, you'll see. The audience will see. We
they
had
never
to get
brought
rid
it
of
back? They never brought it back
No.
for the series?
It's destroyed. It's
Oh,
John
wow.
Calmette.
Yeah, it's an Everett Peck version of John Calmette.
That was.
The driver, yeah.
Didn't Columbia make toys though?
No, they did, but not the vehicle, not the.
Yeah.
That was the coolest thing.
Well, there was interestingly, they in the Ghostbusters 2. My understanding from the research I've done was that in Ghostbusters 2 they actually had to change the name of the car to Ecto 1A. They were going to call it Ecto 2, but because this had been done in the cartoon, they wanted to
Perhaps we
to
can contain them there.
stay faithful to
You know,
that.
I just realized that toy monster is crushing all of those cars.
Yeah.
We didn't have a whole lot of people jumping out of them.
No, I
DSMP
didn't do
never
any people.
noticed
No.
that we killed
Yep.
hundreds and hundreds of people.
Yep.
Oh,
It's what
ABC
ghosts do.
standards and practices.
Oh.
What have you wrought on the world?
What have we done? We've damaged all those kids.
They just,
Oh,
And it's
they
still
just
going
keep
on.
Oh, the
killing more.
humanity! Oh, the humanity!
There's more and more people dying right in front of our eyes,
Man.
we were just thinning the herd.
and we're laughing about it. Oh,
Increasing. We'll have visual contact in 4 seconds.
We should have
It's my
titled it
fault.
"Thinning the Herd." That
It's
was-
my fault.
1 second.
That is a good title.
Yep.
Here they come.
well, you know, I mean, before we thought that maybe Lost was influenced by this, and I think this bridge scene, maybe this is a Cloverfield.
Yeah.
There you go.
They took it from Real
Yep.
Ghostbusters too.
Yep. Cloverfield's like
See?
swiping from me.
Paving the way
Yeah.
for everyone.
Yep.
I'm surprised Columbia isn't doing another movie.
I
It's
know.
still a great idea.
It is.
It would work now.
I know.
It's interesting. That's so animated so differently right there.
Yeah.
Oh, the
See?
tears.
And he's Winston. It's like he's got heart.
Yeah.
He's really
the
concerned.
humanity.
He's worried about his friends.
Winston was another character I felt like we really let down. He just didn't do much.
Yeah.
Well, some script, they did have some scripts that concentrated on him as well.
Yeah, we were aware of it. We knew it. But 4 guys to keep alive in 22
I know.
minutes is
Exactly.
real
It's
tough.
tough. Yeah.
You actually saw cars splattered there.
Yes.
Yeah.
With like
No,
sprays of something. I think that's
Oil.
oh
Yeah,
oil.
that's it. That's
okay.
Motor oil.
That's it.
Yeah.
Or transmission fluid. Yeah.
Right.
Not only killing people, we're wasting oil.
Yeah.
Oh.
That head popping out. It's like,
Yeah, I think the head is
Evil
probably the
head puppet.
creepiest moment of this.
oh no, it comes the end. Yeah, it's at the end of the sequence. Actually, it's always the one. That
Okay,
I-
creepiest moment so far.
Yeah.
I always think those white
Wow.
white clown faces with the eyelashes.
Oh, it
Give
always
me nightmares.
Yeah.
Mm.
And yet this is all based on children's toys.
Exactly.
Who would think that could be scary? Now this is taking place on the Brooklyn Bridge. Obviously,
Yes.
Yes.
New York had to be a big part of the show. Was that ever a challenge?
Yeah. As a matter of
Yeah.
fact, we had the edict, and I got into trouble because I insisted on because Deke was an international company, and you're not supposed to have any English on the signs. And I think this was the first time that they actually had English on their signs because I
It was
kept doing it.
Brooklynese, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kept doing it because it's New York. You
We-
got to
we
have
had to,
English,
yeah.
you know.
I remember those big photo books with all the little post-its in it.
Yeah.
There's some great locations in New York. I mean, real ones.
So you did a lot of reference to make sure that it was all correct.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to live there.
You couldn't think of anything better. I mean, they were great. It's the way they were.
Yeah, look at that.
There goes the Ecto 2.
Yeah.
See? Yeah. Ecto 2 goes down in a
Oh.
blaze of glory.
Oh, I bet you there was a pun name on that boat, but it went past too fast to read it.
Well, the people at home will be able to freeze frame that, Daniel.
Yeah, there you go.
And check
Or-
Oh. Ah!
I love
suddenly want sushi.
That's a good line.
Not exactly the
It's
thing.
cool.
one
It's
would-
really very, very Cthulhu-esque. Yeah, it's very Lovecraftian.
A big explosion like that, and still the bridge stands.
But it's a ectoplasmic explosion.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like the big wheel survives.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Well, that's not dated.
No, not at all.
Oh,
Billy Crystal Saturday Night Live reference.
jeez.
Wow.
That's disgusting. That was
It is.
nasty.
It is.
That's a lot of kissing. Now, why was this slime blue? Shouldn't the slime be green?
Fluid.
Well, that was clearly saliva.
Oh.
That wasn't slime.
Oh. I remember doing this ending.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
So, anything you
That was
want to
a
say
great
to the
episode.
fans after 23 years? They're getting to see the pilot.
I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did.
Yeah.
Hey, it still holds up after 20 years.
It does.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun to make. It was a good days.
And Slimers, here he goes. He gets the last word.
Thank you all for being here.